So, Dato, shall we
So,
start?
Shen, shall we?
Yep. So, I guess based on popular vote, people want to hear about the Humanode DAO, Vortex. I think the last time we talked about Vortex was roughly 4 months ago. And I'm not sure how many here know about Vortex, but there are some changes based on, I guess, various trial and error and theorizing and working things out. As some of you may know, we are almost ready to publish our updated final white paper, and some changes should be coming to the Vortex. So I guess today would be a good opportunity to talk about the Vortex a bit and share some of the major update into it. So Dato, how do you want to do this? Want to talk about the Humanode Vortex a bit and what makes it different from anything else out there?
I guess, Shen, we'll have to go through the usual drill and talk about, the whole structure of DAO and then delve into details, I guess.
Okay, then actually, Dato, be my guest here and I'll fill in and let's get this rolling.
Thank you, Shens. So, as my friend here has already mentioned, today we're talking about Vortex and other parts of the Humanode DAO. So the first thing you gotta understand about this DAO is that because of Humanode's principles that all validators are equal in terms of validation power, voting is essential part of the network, and every single validator has equal voting power as well, as it's derived from owning one node principle. And basically, the Humanode DAO consists of 30 parts. Um, the proposal pool system, the Vortex itself, which is a voting system, and a formation, not to confuse with foundation. It's a completely separate thing. Formation is a part where basically the funds necessary to accomplish some projects of the ecosystem are like gathered, and teams are gathered for these projects as well. So basically, I'll start from the proposal pool, I guess. So it's an easy thing to understand. Basically, the proposal pool is the pool for proposals made by um, governors of the network, right? And I mean, any governor, and the governor is a validating and a governing node, can deploy proposals into this pool. Um, so what's important about this is the proposals that are going into this pool are not being voted upon by the Vortex. Um, they have to gain a so-called quorum of attention, we call it. The thing is that like all the proposals here have up votes and down votes, and the system is built so that if any proposal receives attention from 22% of all governing nodes, then it's eligible for voting. So it's like the first step in chamber, we would call it, where proposals are being viewed by people. They're being debated anytime they want. They can stay in the proposal pool for as long as they want. And at the time when it gets either 22% of upvotes and downvotes, it goes straightly up to the Vortex for voting. So basically, this is the thing about proposal pool. It's the first step for determining the value and the attention required for a proposal to go to the voting itself. And here, every single governing entity is equal in terms of voting power, and no delegations are basically counted. It has to receive a proper attention of validators and governors before going up. So the second part of the Humanode DAO is called Vortex. Like we call Vortex everything, but basically Vortex is the voting part. So it's pretty simple here. All the proposals get the attention quorum from the proposal pool, and it means like 22% of validators have, relayed their attention through putting the upvotes or downvotes. Basically, every proposal that gets 22% attention quorum gets to Vortex to be voted upon by governors again. And here we have another thing that we call a quorum of voters, basically. Uh, for any voting to be eligible and verified, it requires to get there at least 33% of all the governing votes inside the system. So 33% plus one of the all governors in the system must participate in this voting for it to be, well, verified and legally attendable. Um, if 33% are not gathered, then the quorum is not gathered as well, and this proposal goes back to the proposal pool until it gets a quorum of attention once again. What's important here is that, yes, indeed, in Vortex, all governors have the same voting power, equal to one as any other governors out there. But this is the place where delegation comes into hand. Basically, as a governor, I can delegate my voice to any other governor in the system if I don't have like time, or I'm not acquainted with a theme enough. So here in Vortex, basically your delegations count, and your one voting power plus the number of delegations on top of your like governing node also count for the votes that go through either approving or declining a proposal here. If, for example, if there's like a 33% quorum, there's also a requirement of 66% of approval or accepted, votes from those who are counted into this quorum. So basically, there's like a necessary majority of votes for a proposal to be accepted and channeled further. And basically, there's the third part, which is also very important. We call it formation. So if there is a proposal that requires coordination of various resources and funds and people, then there's a way to kind of gather up people and gather funds for it through formation. It's a place where basically people get the funds from a special vault of the ecosystem for their projects, for the enlargement or development of the ecosystem. And at the same time, they're able to kind of find people and brains and hands necessary for the work from the number of human nodes and validators running Humanode network and participating in it, or like any public address out there, really. Yeah, so it's like three major parts here. The proposal pool for getting the quorum of attention. Then we have Vortex, where the voting goes through, And we have formation where if an accepted proposal requires funds or human resources, it can gather like things that it requires information. Yeah, so like it's an overall structure here.
Okay, Dato, since you've gone through that, mind if I fire away some questions? Things
Actually,
that.
I had a question for you, Shan.
Okay.
So, Shan, it's less than a question, more. I wanted to ask you if you could tell the guys here how you progress through tiers
Okay.
and what do those
So,
tiers mean.
okay. So actually, there are 4 tiers of governors. The first tier is what we call a citizen. And basically, the moment you become a governor, you are a citizen. You are not required to maintain the full state of the network.
Shan,
Uh, mhm,
uh, let's say this first. So, to become a governor, right?
mhm.
One should have his proposal accepted by the Vortex.
Yes, that is true. And actually, that was going to be one of my questions to you. So let me
Mhm.
just quickly go through the 4 tiers. So there's a citizen, there's the senator, which is if you've been governing up to the requirements, basically, participating in governance for over a year, you become a senator. And then a legate, you need to have been, I believe, 2 years as a governor, and you are required to maintain the full stack of the main network. And you need to participate in the information. And of course, then there's the consul, which you need to be governing for 4 years. And of course, the requirements are the same as a legate. And depending on your tier, you can actually make different uh, tiers of proposals, shall I say. So depending on um, like some of the easier stuff, let's say we're talking about product proposals, let's say for apps or for uh, the general UI UX or whatever. Uh, as a citizen, of course, you can make those proposals. And once you're a senator, you can start making proposals, let's say, concerning fee distribution. Uh, when you become a legate, you can be talking about monetary policies or protocol level proposals, and even administrative proposals. And when you get to the consul, on top of that, you get, Vortex core proposals and you get veto power. Now, the one thing that everybody probably does know by now, but I'll say it again, is that just because you become a higher tier of governors, you don't get more voting power. You basically get the power to um, make other people's proposals, or let's say even non-humanoid uh, proposal system. So anyway, with that in mind, going back to what Dato said, you need to have one of your proposals approved by the Vortex to become a governor. So, Dato, based on what you said earlier, um, of course, and what I said right now, to make a proposal, you kind of have to be a governor, correct? So, for your average human node, who is not a governor yet, who wants to become a governor, uh, is his first task finding a governor that would float his proposal, or how does it work?
So, good question, Shannon. So basically, a non-governing um, entity or a node can make proposals for product level engagement, marketing, community, research, without having any status really or tier. But if there's a necessity to make monetary protocol proposals, they have to just find one governing node that would nominate them and ask it for it. That's it.
Yeah, so basically, you have to find somebody to nominate your proposal at that level, correct? So,
For example, if I'm a
mhm,
Humanode, right, and I have some product level proposal that I want to make, I don't
mhm,
need anybody. I just go to the proposal pool straight and just put my proposal there. But
okay.
for example, if I'm not a governor but just a Humanode and I want to like make a proposal, on protocol change, which is a very crucial part of the whole network, and I'm like have zero governing, capabilities and stuff like this. So what I have to do is I have to find a real life Humanode that is a legate or a council and just ask them, could they nominate me for this proposal, which they can do.
So just out of curiosity, um, how do you find a legitimate governor? It's like, do you get a little tag on your name saying that you're a council or legate, or you just have to kind of look out for people, or how does it work?
Well, Humanodes are pseudonymous, right? But I presume that most of the governors will be uh, absolutely transparent about their identities. And there's like always public keys that you can like access and write to or send transactions to, which you know. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's basically how you do it.
Okay, so now going to the second part. So you you get a proposal there. Let's say you are uh, a citizen, or let's say, well, you're just a governor, and a proposal comes up that, let's say, is made by a council, a Vortex level um, proposal. Talk about the Vortex Accord. Now, who votes on this? Only councils, or do all governors vote on it?
Everyone does. It's the point of democratic consensus.
Hmm.
So it's the thing about tiers and humanoids that they limit the ability and the importance of the proposals that you can make. But for anything to get through, it has to get democratic consensus from everybody in the system.
Hmm. Okay, so now here's my final question here. Going into formation. So let's say, you know, I'm not sure at if I want to make a proposal concerning, let's say, a cool feature for the humanoid, and I have this great idea, and but all I have is an idea, as in I really don't know how to structure it. I'm not really sure about, you know, uh, various fees or expenses that would it would you know happen. So, and I make this proposal. Do I just make the proposal as an idea, or is it as a, I guess, like a business proposal? Do I have to have a budget attached to it with, how much you think it will cost? Or, does this have to come at the very early stage in the pool, or does this come once the vote, let's say, goes through the Vortex? As in, do you have the option to just make a proposal and then actually make the detailed proposal concerning how many team members you have, or you need, and how much money you need later, or how does it work?
I think that at the very beginning, the ideas that are small might be able to get through Vortex, but I don't think they will, because I'll be standing here with every single proposal out there. But let me get it like this: if you just bring an idea, the idea is not really worth anything. So you gotta work on that idea. You gotta lay down the groundwork for it, and you gotta channel, people's intentions. If you don't do your work properly, people will just look at it and say, it's too early. It's not ready.
Hmm.
You can go and you can mingle with people in the ecosystem, and they will help you out. And you can read stuff on how to prepare proper proposals, projects, and stuff like this. But I mean, if it's just raw, people will not accept it, I think, unless it's like a genius proposal.
Hmm. So, based on my understanding, once something goes to formation, we're going to have we're preparing tools for team assembly, and of course, let's say a budget is approved in the process. Let's say this whole proposal is worth $100, and I say I want to assign $10 of this uh, to Dato, because I need him to play the guitar and sing a song for that. Um, I'm assuming, you know, this is part of the team assembly. But do you have to have a clear idea of who you want on the team at the beginning, or is this something that you can build as it passes through? It becomes an approved proposal by the formation. I mean, obviously, when I do a project, I have a general idea of who I want on my team. But let's say we're playing baseball, and we need 9 people on the field, and I know a great pitcher, know a great catcher, and I know a great shortstop, but I still need some outfielders, and I also need some basemen. Uh, can I gather those later, or should I have a good idea before?
I mean, um, the formation was designed, to be kind of very, very um, elastic, I would say.
Hmm.
Like if you have already pre-trained, organized team to just go in and kill it, then why not? But there's can always be a pending, roles on the team in the system where you kind of figure out what you need as you go, and yeah, just it's
Yep.
flexible.
Sure. I would say that's why the formation exists, because you can't get everyone on board, especially before your proposal is finally approved. And once it is approved, you still have time before taking the Vortex assets in order to fulfill your proposal and to assemble the team. So once you say, okay, ready to start, guys, then your time starts ticking, and the money becomes available to you, and then everybody can see whether you're delivering on schedule or not. But anyway, you have time like before starting executing on proposal and assembling the team once you already got approved.
Okay, so just here's yeah, a silly idea, but something that often happens in regular business environment. Let's say in software development. There are cases, or even hardware development. There are cases when you start a project and you realize that some requirements change halfway through the project. And in order to meet those requirements, additional funding becomes necessary.
Make another proposal.
Make another proposal. So you basically say, in order to accomplish this, we need this much more money.
Yep, and that's why I think we'll follow the path of other, decentralized grant-based programs where, to control that deliveries and the flow of assets needed to deliver, you need to keep the proposal in milestones, where each milestone is just about 3 months, which something you can actually expect. I mean, in terms of work done and time spent on it.
Okay, then I see one final question here is, let's say I make a proposal that, let's say for, once again, a product, an application, and everybody thinks that it's great. I think it's great. We all go forward, gung-ho, trying to get it done. But something doesn't work and we miserably fail and fall on our face and are not able to meet our deadlines. We're not able to produce.
Well, you get biometrically slashed for some time to think about your behavior, and then you get back to normal, because I mean, it's not only your fault, it's also the fault of the whole Humanode Vortex for believing in you. And yeah, well, that's probably it. Well, it's not the same as embezzlement, though. Don't do that.
Okay, let's see what happens if I embezzle.
We hire some killers as a proposal.
Uh-huh. Okay, so we're about 30 minutes in to the Fireside. I'd like to open the floor to questions. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? Anyone?
The killer's part was a joke, guys. Don't be so silent.
Okay, so yes, going back to one of the things that I said earlier is that, of course, with this newly to be published white paper, the major change that happened in the Vortex was that we went from, for a citizen, not needing to have one of your proposals approved from the Vortex, and it wasn't required for senators either. But what was the change that came? Why did this change happen? Why do we need to have a proposal go through first?
It was a very hard decision for us, Sharon, because there's like um, a trilemma between um, elitarism, where oligarchy prevails, then intellectual censorship, and basically how the system is affected by populists. And we were trying to kind of mediate all those three factors really. So um, basically, if you're allowed to for anyone to vote, you're getting a system of non-professionals that are handled some media content, and it shapes their opinion on something. So we are striving for equality between validation, that's for sure. But we want to have some kind of intellectual, census before you're giving your mandate to vote. So you gotta prove yourself that you're intellectually capable of stuff, any stuff really, and then you are kind of giving this mandate to vote upon really anything in the system. So um, by by basically introducing this intellectual step as to have to propose something, literally anything useful for the system on the product level or somewhere else, you are basically giving a vote only then. And yes, this like um, makes the system a little bit elitist, just a little bit, but at the same time, it safeguards it from so many levels of attacks. Like, oh my god! Like for example, even like selling your biometrics attack. It's like when a billionaire like asks 1,000 people to sell him his biometrics, and then he basically orders them to kind of make nodes and vote for anything he says. This angle of attacks would be mitigated if there's like this intellectual step where those people, even if they did become human nodes, would not be able to vote upon anything unless they prove that they have proper dedication and intellect to vote. Yeah.
I guess the only way around that attack, or if I was going to, if I was at millionaire, I guess assuming that I was buying 1,000 IDs, I'd have to have 1,000 proposals that I'd give to each person to turn them into governors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
mean
would
that,
become the intergalactic conglomerate already to do that.
and this also prepares the Vortex for a transition already to
Mhm.
cognitocracy, but we won't be speaking about that for now. It's gonna be a surprise.
Okay. So, working on the vortex. Well, actually, I'm just let's talk a little bit more about formation. When we're talking about product level proposals. What is the scope of that? Let's say um, if hmm, let's say, does it range from anything from you know uh, official mascots to uh, cool features, or when you say product level, what how big is this field? I mean, what kind of products are we imagining here?
Okay, first of all, there's like websites, forums, blogs. Then there are like some marketing stuff, like logos and stuff like this. Then there's like there will be native applications of Humanode that will like belong to all of Humanodes equally. So it's like mobile, desktop, web, buttons in there, like make a proposal to change something or make something better, or make a proposal to research something because there's like a research basically going all over the ecosystem and you need some research funded, or make a proposal for community driven stuff to, I don't know, there's like a lot of things that an ordinary either citizen or non governing node can propose without any kind of nomination there. And also in the future, there's going to be like a whole bunch of projects built on top of Humanode, but it will still belong to like the ecosystem and all the Humanodes equally. Like, I don't know, centralized exchanges, bridges, liquidity providers, and stuff like this. And you can also make your kind of proposals on the product level there. So there's like a multitude, hundreds and thousands of ideas can be given to become a governor.
Okay, so just one random question here.
Yeah.
Let's say in the future, of course, as Humanode evolves, let's say 3-4 years down the road, a company comes up with some cool technology that we think, it would be, or let's say they think, it would be cool if they work together with Humanode or want to utilize the crypto biometrics of Humanode. Who do they make the proposal to?
If you're a company,
Yeah, let's say, or even another project.
well,
Or
is
another,
it somehow connected to Humanode? Is it somehow connected to Humanode?
Yes, of course. If it's,
I mean, we just pitch it to proposal pool. It's the same thing. But
so
in 4 years' time, there's going to be a very different system running all of this. But I just don't want to talk about it now. But you're making me.
well, it's 40 minutes into the fireside, and no questions are shooting up yet, so making it difficult for you.
Oh, let me ask you a question, Chad.
Okay.
What would be your first proposal?
Oh boy, my first proposal.
Yeah, at least the proposal level that you would give.
I mean, there's I've always been a media person, so obviously, most of my proposals will be media and PR related.
Okay.
So, could be for, various animations or an official, how shall I say, Humanode publication. We have the media team right now, but I'd probably try to set up a system where, of course, we have key contributors that are working for us, but also basically have a system where we can actually have researchers or writers or editors that want to publish in our media that's on topics that are related to Humanode or what we promote can actually join the intellectual pool here. So that's probably something that I would think of first.
Very important thing to mention here is that it doesn't have to be a proposal about one idea. I mean, you can include like multiple ideas in the same proposal and have like ideas from different levels of tiers that you can propose in the same proposal. You get me right? Like bills. Like there's like millions of different things that they want to change. So yeah, basically you can do it in the same proposal if you want.
So, Dato, what would your first proposal be, excluding creating a Humanode U4 league?
Sharon, it's pretty easy. My first proposal will be taking this white paper that we've been working on and putting it as a proposal into Humanode Vortex. Yeah, it's very, very easy.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, and I have a question, a pretty stupid one. So, what would we do with the proposals that are like anti-productive? So, imagine I'm proposing to fire a chief humanoid designer. Well, what would you say about such proposals?
But do you mean like the proposal itself being unproductive?
Yeah, the proposal to fire humanoid designer, for example. Like, I'm not
Well,
proposing
if
anything. I'm just saying.
well, if humanoids demand it, really, what can we do? Well, how bad will he be that a whole humanoids get up and like vote to fire him or something?
Well, of course
Shannon
you
is
could
getting
have.
the reference. That's why he's not laughing.
It is just an internal joke.
So, let's say, what if we have non-productive ideas that are, I don't know, somebody says they want, the humanoid version of Dogecoin, or they want, I don't know, humanoid branded coffee sold. And people think that's a running joke and funny, so we're going to upvote it. What happens? Is this when the veto power comes in? Dato? Oh, I mean, just while Dato is silent here. Oops. Okay. Just while Dato is silent here. The veto power is something that we haven't actually explained a bit about, but the Tier 4 governors or councils can actually veto proposals that have been approved. However, it's basic, if for some reason 66% of the councils decides that it's necessary to veto a decision, then the decision can be vetoed. But they can't, once it's vetoed, it goes back to the proposal pool. And it comes up again, they can veto it again. But if the same decision, they can't veto the same decision more than 2 times in a row. Meaning, if it comes up for the 3rd time, then the governors cannot veto because the people have spoken. So, Dato, you're back.
I am indeed.
So I was going to ask you, if we come up with some stupid proposals, like create, the humanoid version of Dogecoin, or humanoid branded coffee,
Yeah, I mean,
or
do you really you don't need to have a approved proposal to do something like this. You can just go and create a coin humanoid. No one can stop you. But if you need some money for that, from formation and coordination of people, well, If humanoids demand it, that shall happen.
So if the people speak, well, there's nothing stopping them.
I mean, it's a democratic consensus. Can you stop democratic consensus? I don't think so.
I
Yeah,
tend to agree
Vito
there.
is there. Vito is there just to tell people, "Hey guys, something is wrong here. Please think about it once again." And then it's like, "Hey guys, please think about it once more, just last time." And well, after that, there's nothing you can do.
Yep. So the third try is a charm sometimes.
But also, on the other hand, if for somehow the DAO is being attacked, and like somehow there's like different angles of attack that you can do. For some reason, if it's being attacked, a veto actually gives you like a safe trigger to buy some time to figure out how this attack is, channeling through and to kill the perpetrators. As you veto some proposal, it goes back to the Vortex for 2 weeks. So there's like more than enough time for the ecosystem to react to the attack. So it's another like safety there.
So basically, if it's an attack, and we determine it's an attack, we have a maximum of 4 weeks, or 4 to 5 weeks to basically determine the source. So yeah, okay. So we are at the point of this fireside where we have gone on for roughly 50 minutes here. And the floor is once again open to any questions, any chats, any comments. Please feel free to open your mic and speak. And if you don't, I might just pinpoint you and say, see what you're thinking. Okay, do I need to volunteer somebody?
I actually I wanted to ask the guys here something.
Okay, go ahead.
So the first question is like, would you guys become humanoids? And I mean governing humanoids. If you're too shy to answer, then just raise your hand or something.
Or you can type it out in Telegram if it's inconvenient.
Okay, well, that answer suits me just fine. So my question is here really, would someone govern a network if they then don't get more you know they're not getting paid more by the network than ordinary humanoids? That's my question. Would someone like spend more time and effort on something and governing the system if they don't get more in terms of capitalistic rewards from the system?
Well, this is always a deep question here. I believe that people will, especially actually the people that will be part of the governing body will be the people that really see the bigger picture, and that they realize that the more voices and the more proposals, and the better the system gets, in the long run, the more rewards they'll get, because the humanoid the whole community will become stronger. Therefore, uh, their value, or the value in the network itself, will increase. So I do believe that, there will be people like that. And on the other hand, if you have people that, will not do it unless they're given, extra money or extra power, I'm not quite sure. We, I wouldn't say that we don't need those people, but I personally feel more comfortable about people that actually really care for the whole ecosystem and get the bigger picture.
I mean, you have such an extensive experience, Shan, in proving devotion to a governing system without getting almost anything back. Why are you doing this?
Well, once again, it's in a sense it is rewarding because the more you give to the system, the more the system grows, and in the long run, makes you how shall I say, makes your job easier and makes your life richer, I guess. Not necessarily, in monetary terms, but you have a richer human experience. So I believe that the participants of the Vortex will definitely have a much richer and much more fruitful Humanode experience. What about you, Dodo? What do you think? Do you think people will participate? Would you participate? Or is that
We have no chances but participation, and that's why we want to find out what others are thinking.
Of course.
But I mean, have we participated before? Yes, but not in that long run, because we're kind of people who are supporting what we are doing. And when you are in any other community, you know that it is owned but by somebody else, not you. However, the first time in the history, it won't be like that with Humanode, where you will always be an equal part of that.
Yeah, and actually, I totally agree there. I mean, the thing, um, especially when it comes to the topic of voter apathy, um, and it comes down to voter apathy amongst the governors, is really the fact that they do not totally feel ownership. Because if you don't feel ownership, if you don't feel that your voice counts or your vote counts, why vote? But if your voice and if your vote actually counts, um, people will be much more willing to. Okay, just we have a couple minutes left. We have a question here. Group the Veda says, when can we expect testnet and mainnet? Is the MVP ready?
So the dates are still the same. This week we will provide you with the form for participating, the application form to participate in the testnet. Actually, our internal testnet is running just fine, and all the humanoids inside our team are producing blocks after going through biometric authentication. And well, the mainnet is still there. It is scheduled for the second quarter of 2022. So we'll have about 8 months, to upgrade our testnet until it becomes unbreakable and to have it on mainnet.
And yes, the second part of this question is that CryptoVeda is curious about the UI and how it looks, and if we can share something.
Okay, as far as UI is concerned, we're layer one infrastructure projects, and there's so much work to do on the infrastructure level that people eventually don't see, that we haven't been bothering a lot about UI. But our UI development started about 2 weeks ago, and we'll be making continuous improvements to deliver in a few months, the experience of launching and being Humanode that does not require any engineering and IT skills. And even people who don't know what command line is will be able to do that.
And of course, the Humanode media team will be doing feature articles once testnet comes. And I'm quite sure once we have a UI to share, it will be shared. And we have one last question here. And it is being typed. So drum roll. It says, in the long run, how can we trust and follow you in your project? How do you raise awareness and elimination of doubts of investors, partners, customers? Well, I think, one of the basic answers here is that this is and always will be a totally open project. I mean, once we open the testnet and launch mainnet, obviously it will be run by the governors and all the participants of the Humanode network. It's not like you have big whales that own 30, 40, 50% of the voting power and have everything under their control. It's not run by a corporation. Everybody who participates is a fully equal co-owner of the system. So, concerning raising awareness, this is something that the media team and PR team will be, of course, working on. And the elimination of the doubts, well, I guess the only thing that I can say is look at what we're doing. Obviously our timeline, development schedule, various projects are all out in the open, and so far I don't think we've missed any points yet. So, Dado, do you have anything to add?
The
Or Victor,
testnet
yeah.
will help us in awareness. I mean, as much or even more than it did the first time we launched our prototype. And we think is the key to show people that the real technology is there and it's working. Because people think this idea is so crazy, they have no idea how to implement that. And while it is really not an easy task, we're here to prove that actually when you touch this technology, you can understand that this is possible, and it's not that difficult when everything is done for you by the Humanode core team.
Okay, so looks like our time is up. Thank you everybody for joining us in this Humanode Fireside. Thank you, Dado. Thank you, Victor, and everybody here. And we'll see you in 2 weeks again.
Thank you, everyone, for being here, and those who are listening to it after it
Thanks,
happened.
everyone. The core member of the Human Nodes. Thanks once again.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.